Hello, my name is Dr. Florida Uzuaro, and today I just kind of wanted to share my experience using Lucid. Before I do that, just kind of want to tell a little bit about myself. I am an assistant professor with health systems management, and I teach under the program of population health management as well as health systems management. So, in last semester I had an assignment in a different course that requires students to use FigJam, and maybe I wasn't doing it right, but I had three FigJam boards where I had students. Kind of do collaborative conversations and stuff. So this is the assignment of one of them. So you can see students kind of posted things which worked great in that sense because they're able to use different colors to be able to post. Um, One of the challenges that I faced with this was that I had to ask the students to put in their names in the sticky board, in the sticky notes, because that was the only way I could identify who posted what. So if students forgot to put in their names, then it took me quite a time to go back and forth and trying to identify which student posted what. The second problem that I had with this was that there was no integration with Canvas, at least at the time. I don't think there was integration. I don't know if that has changed, but there was no integration with Canvas. So the only way I could grade was to go from tab to tab. So on Canvas was my rubric that I was using to grade students' work. Um, but that rubric was on Canvas, and the conversation was happening on FigJam. So I had to go between, kind of switching tab to tab in order to grade it, which is not the most convenient thing, especially when I'm kind of grading loads of work, and having to go back and forth wasn't the nicest thing. So I was kind of interested in trying something new or something better. So when the university kind of sent out some form of communication to let us know that Lucid was now integrated with Canvas, I kind of jumped at it. So for one of my courses, the one that I'm currently teaching, I decided to use Lucid for some of that assignment. As you can see, I have quite a number of assignments. I'm sorry, I have quite a number of assignments that I was requiring students to use. So it's like 2 to 6. So that's about 4 assignments that I wanted students to use Lucid to do to complete their work. So the first assignment, which I'm just going to click here, you had students working in different groups. So the way the assignment was set up was that students were already assigned to different groups, and these groups being chronic conditions. So I had 4 chronic conditions that I wanted students to look at. And I wanted them to have a conversation within themselves, within the group. But at the same time, I wanted it to be able that other students who were not in the group will be able to view those collaborative work and then vote for what they thought was the best. Because when I'm teaching them in general. I'm teaching them chronic conditions in general, but I also wanted them to be able to compare how they are coming up with strategies for their chronic condition versus how other students were coming up with strategies for their own chronic condition. So, which meant that there were 2 parts of the assignment. You had the assignment that asked them to propose a strategy, and then you had an assignment that required them to kind of vote on the strategy. So I wanted them to vote based off on creativity, how it fits, in this case being the framework, and feasibility, whether it can actually work. So initially, let me go back and show you guys what I mean. I'm going to close this. So initially, the way that I had set up the Lucid was that each chronic condition had its own different whiteboard. So what then happened was, as you can see, this is A2, this assignment. So there was one for chronic kidney disease, and then the other for all the different ones. So you had four different Lucid whiteboard for the same assignment, where each whiteboard was for each chronic condition. So there were some challenges with that. That's kind of stemmed with the way that I incorporated Lucid into Canvas. So let me kind of show you guys what I mean. So initially, with A2, I had set it up like this, where Lucid was put in as a submission type. So the great thing about this was when students submitted their work, the what they entered into Lucid would come submitted to me as a PDF file. So I would get to do all the grading within Canvas without having to go back and forth like I did with FigJam. So that was really great. The challenge with that was that students were not seeing each other's post, which means that they could complete the first part of the assignment the way that it was set up, but the second part they could not complete it because they could not see it. So I reached out to Lucid to say, hey, the way that this is set up is not necessarily working for me. And so I was told that it's because of the way that I had set up the assignment that I should embed it instead, embed it from here. So I embedded it. So you can see there are two, let me close it so you see what I mean. So there was two different Lucid, the same Lucid board, but it was kind of put in two different ways. The reason being that here, the way when it's embedded, students will be able to see each other's work, but they couldn't submit it because now the submission aspect of it was gone. So they couldn't submit it, and so I didn't know whether students met the deadline for the assignments or not, because everybody would say I submitted it and elsewhere. So that was a challenge with that. So this didn't work. So I end up, the only way that I could end up doing it was to ask students who posted this first to use this so that they could submit it. So which was not the best solution either. So I reached out and said, okay, thank you guys for helping, but this is not necessarily working for me because this is not what it is that I want. So I reached out to Lucid to kind of tell them this was